cautious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on turf!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Mick's having fun already. Why are we chuckling, Mick?
There's a bloke parked next to me. He's got dog ink car.
Okay. Mick's, if anybody doesn't know, Mick's in the car park in Wales, ever his favourite venue for Mick to be in. There's a man next door with a dog. Okay.
I've heard about these car parks and dogs, but I'm not sure it's the same thing Mick's doing now.
We've done that joke before. We can do it again if you want, though.
No.
We have Kev Johnson back with us tonight. Thank you for joining us again, Kev.
No problem.
Nice to be back. And we've got Ben back with us as well. Hello, Benjamin.
Hello.
You look very smart in that top. Is that a proper Rotherham top?
Yeah, it's a Rotherham top. It is a Rotherham top. It's just got a collar. That's why it looks smart.
It just looks like a proper shirt.
I know. I'm going to do top button, but then I look like I've actually got a full-on shirt on. So.
And you can't be doing top button in this weather. It's far too hot for that. Yeah, so we're going to cover a few different things tonight. There's not much happened since we last recorded, to be honest with you, from a Rotherham United point of view. So I don't suspect we'll be covering an hour and 10 minutes, whatever we normally cover, but we'll see where we get. I'm sure somebody else will pop up in Mick's car park, which will give us something else to talk about.
I'll let you know.
Alfie Knott, it's too hot, and S64 Miller's with us as well. We're recording live a bit earlier because the Women's Euros, New York Stadium, involved at a major tournament, Ben. Excited?
Yeah, I am actually. I mean, obviously it's good to get some kind of more people going to New York and more people knowing about Rotherham. I seen someone put some journalist called it a small stadium or something. Some BBC reporter said, "Why are we having it in small stadiums?" or something like that from the BBC, actual BBC, which is.
There's a full article, isn't there, on BBC website?
Yeah.
And I think I'll try and find a quote for you because it's a beaut. It's an absolute beaut.
Okay, look forward to that.
I'll find it.
You'll find it, yeah. Alfie Knott says this as well. This is the sort of most important one that covers us, really. I think UEFA have paid for upgrades from floodlights, and apparently the floodlights are Premier League standard. It's good to get exposure, Kev, from Rotherham's point of view. Rotherham's on a European stage, but from a selfish point of view, we're getting upgrades to a stadium which, if not, are certainly heavily helped cost-wise by UEFA and FA.
Yeah, definitely. As far as I'm aware, $200,000 as well for them floodlights. So, and goal line technology as well, I believe, has been put in, which is going to stay as well for next season. I think we'd have needed it anyway. So,
yeah,
good old Tony Stewart's not put in his pocket again.
Hey, he knows the bargain when he sees one, doesn't he?
Don't he just? Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Danny's not with us tonight because Danny is going down to New York Stadium for the Italy-France game, isn't it? On Sunday evening. But he'll be reporting back. He's going to do a bit of a report at the ground and feed back to us on Thursday, so we can find out what it's like at a European stadium. Mick, do you particularly like the boards around the side, the electronic sponsorship boards? I feel like we're a Premier League club. He's on mute, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mick, you're on mute. Oh, classic.
I'm trying to keep sound at dog barking out, but never mind.
We can't eat a dog. It's fine.
Yeah,
You can, right. But whatever.
I think it's great that, and hopefully we'll keep them and be able to advertise Boothie's scrapyard on them and stuff like that. It'd be great.
Yeah.
That BBC article, the headline is some Euro 2022 matches featuring the biggest stars of women's football are being played in small northern stadiums. But does that matter?
No.
That is. I mean, Jesus.
It's not even a sellout. It's not even sold out, is it? So.
Well,
that's it. You've got, there's no point holding every single game at Wembley if you're not. Italy, France, and Iceland are not going to sell out in England, so it makes sense to have a stadium that sort of fits the capacity. If that sort of makes sense for me, it does anyway.
I'm pretty sure New York Stadium is only a couple of thousand less than Brentford's ground, but there's no mention of that, is there?
Exactly. Yeah. Andy Parker says that in comments. Yeah, is Brentford not small?
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, written by a Wednesday fan, I've heard.
Yeah, they're baffled why we've not held it at their ground, aren't they? It's crazy.
I wonder why. Just John Morrell says, electronic boards, wow, a slow weekend. It has to be fair. Although, to be fair, for us, electronic boards is new. You know, we've never had it before, so...
Listen, we ought to get John on because he's definitely not having a slow week, is he? With that Banzai Bassini looking at their club.
Yeah.
Got some night pain on, John. There's no wonder you come on out. There's no wonder you watch our podcast, mate. Stay away from Birmingham. Come and support us, pal.
Yeah. I think we've lost Kev. Kev will be back in a minute, I think. Where shall we start, Mick? There's not, like I said, we've not got a great deal to start with. Kev's back with us. Kev.
I think I was laughing at that Birmingham comment and I pressed wrong button. I'm going to say, did anyone hear the talk spot interview with Simon Jordan and that Bassini?
Amazing, wasn't it?
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
I mean, there's also have you seen the tweet that Simon Jordan or the text message that Simon Jordan received off him afterwards? I mean, that is just.
What did it say?
I mean, can't repeat it.
You can't really repeat it. I'll share it. I'll private message you later then.
Essentially, basically,
it about
he's offering him out. He's telling him to meet him at school gates at 4:00. Essentially,
for £1 million.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's just another example of be very grateful that you support Rotherham United. Very, very
Absolutely.
grateful. Well, probably when we play Birmingham later in the season, we might have a chat with the Birmingham fan about that.
Relegation battle.
It probably will be, to be honest. Although Bassini reckons they win the league, he'll come back to win the league, hasn't he? So let's see.
He's bought wrong club.
Yeah. Let's cover the ticket issue that we briefly mentioned last week. So the story behind this is that Reading have said that every club that reciprocates the offer, they will make it £20 flat fee for away fans at their stadium. I think up to date 6 clubs have signed up to this deal, this pact. And Mick, it's on the face of it, it's a really good deal. I think we'll talk about the Fulham costs in a minute, which came out over the weekend. It's a good sign. It's a good gesture, but I don't think we'll be taking part. Do you think Rotherham will be taking part in it?
No, I don't. And listen, I get I'm 100% behind the sort of the idea behind it, and it's great if you're a stadium that holds 30,000, 35,000, whatever. It's a really, really good idea, and it's great for supporters. And the fact that Reading have got no money and are still doing it is makes it even better, doesn't it? I suppose. However, a little dig there. I thought I'd get that one in. From our point of view, you know, we're going to sell our away end out virtually every week in Championship, and all we will be doing is cutting our revenue, just as a matter of principle. So, it's a bit of a difficult one because, in principle, it's a great idea, but in practice, for clubs of our size with grounds of our size, it doesn't benefit us in any way. In fact, it causes us a problem. Whereas, like I said, clubs with bigger grounds, it doesn't. So I can't see Tony taking it on. To be honest.
Yeah, I think that's important, Kev. That the size of the ground that we're going to sell out our away end every week, or not far every week in Championship. That's one of the good things for us is getting Championship. We get a full ground from an away end point of view. It don't make a difference for Cardiff. I think have signed up for it. I don't think it makes a difference for Blackburn. They're going to sell as many tickets as they want anyway. So it makes sense for them to lower it so they get more in. We're at capacity anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Mick says, I can't repeat exactly the same. That we are gonna sell out every single week, no matter what. So for Reading and Birmingham, they've got 10, 15,000 seats every week, so makes perfect sense. And you know, you're right, 20 is plenty. It should be capped to that, but it's not. And for us small clubs, that we need that extra £8 per ticket coming in. So yeah, we'll not do it. 100% we'll not do it.
No, I mean, I don't think we've announced our ticket prices for the new season. There may be an increase from last time because obviously the season ticket price have increased, so you might expect a couple of quid extra on the cost, Ben. But again, we're in the Championship. A lot of our income is based on ticket sales. We haven't got a multi-billionaire pumping money for 15 grand a week on a 31-year-old player, whatever it is. We ain't got that, so money needs to come from ticket sales, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Nice.
I've got it.
I got
it. Yeah. What actually is it? I don't really know what it is.
So basically, Reading have come out and said that we will offer away fans, £20 a ticket, flat fee. You won't be any more as long as your club agrees to it. So, for example, I know Cardiff have. So when Cardiff play Rennet, Cardiff ground, the away ticket's 20 quid, and when Reading host Cardiff, the away tickets are 20 quid. Basically.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I said the same view with Mick and Kev, so I don't really have anything else to say on that. Yeah, we need the money from the thing. We are a little club. We're actually a sustainable club, so we don't get 100 million in 1 year on sponsors, then not the next. We have consistent income every year. Well, I believe anyway. I'm not the tax man, so that's what I believe. So yeah, nothing else to say on that.
Okay, glad I came to you. Sorry, Ben. I stitched you up then. Sorry, mate. And it's worth mentioning, Mick. I briefly mentioned the Fulham ticket price and the complete farce that they are what the cost that they're charging people. It's something like £70 for a child's ticket is one of the costs. In their brand new stand, they've got £100 for OAP, a bit more for adults. And I know they've gone to Premier League, and I know they've got to make a bit more money. But there's got to come to a point where you think that's just bang out of order. Yeah, that's for home fans. Actually, away fans are playing. I think the away fans are still capped at 30 quid for the Premier League. They've all got an agreement in place.
Is there actually an away end at Fulham? There isn't actually an away end at Fulham, is there? I thought it was the same stand.
A neutral stand, yeah.
Yeah. It's just profiteering, isn't it? Essentially. Yeah. But it's London as well, so they obviously feel that they can charge whatever the hell they like in London, and we just price out normal fans to the benefit of the club. That's Fulham, I guess. That's their business model. If it works for them, all well and good. But it's farcical, absolutely farcical that you can support Liverpool and go to Fulham and pay 30 quid, support Fulham and go to Fulham and have to pay 100 quid. I mean, it just makes absolutely zero sense at all. Yeah. And ultimately, what's going to end up happening if it's not policed properly is you're going to end up with home fans in away end.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper. And it's not like it's a fiver cheaper. It's 60-70% cheaper. It's bizarre. So anyway,
the cheapest adult ticket is £65. The most expensive is 100.
Do they actually need money though? The amount they get for promotion from TV rights and all that is that. So that 10,000 seats at £65 a ticket. I can't do maths. What's that? Is it 65 or 650 grand? 65 grand, is it? 10,000 seats. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do they get paid off Sky to show one game? It's pointless. It's ridiculous. It's scandalous.
Yeah, and they have got a multi-billion-pound owner. Can't remember his first name. Khan owns a team in America.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's your answer to it.
America.
Yeah, there's your answer.
Yeah.
They don't have to do it, do they?
650,000, mate.
Oh.
But even 650, Mick, it's still how much was Sky paying for per game or their share at the end of the season? It's not a lot. I mean, how many home games would they have? 19 home games would it be?
19 home games, yeah.
So again, I'm crap at maths. What, £11 million extra revenue for 10,000 people? They get 140 just for going up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's the Premier League. I'm not really to slag clubs off, but it just shows you Fulham's a bit of a tourist club. Because I wouldn't pay that. If Rotherham United start charging them prices, there's a good chance I wouldn't be going. Because it's just not right to charge those. I know we would never, but absolute shocker they've had their Fulham. Absolute shocker. But there you go. Right, moving on to more positive stuff. We're only 10 days away, Kev, from the Legends Night at Rotherham Rugby Club.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, week on Thursday. Yeah.
So
quick.
Really exciting. We're going to go through. Kev's put on Twitter today. If you've not seen, we'll go through it now. With what questions do we want to see asked to Ben Pringle, Mark Todd, Ronnie Moore, John Brecky, and Guy Branston, and Howard Webb?
Yep.
I get everybody.
Yep.
So we're just going to go through what we'd asked them, and then go from there. If anybody wants to put some in the comments, we will try and find these and then pass them on to Kev. And I'm really looking forward to it. Ben, I'm going to start with you, mate. Which one of those first would you like to ask a question to? What question would you ask them?
It would be Howard Webb, and I heard a story that in the World Cup final he only booked Iniesta because he saw him put his shirt back on.
Right.
He didn't
see him take his shirt off.
Yeah, he just saw it, put it back on. I was just asking if it's true.
Well, he must have took it off, put it back on. That's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah.
He's put 2 and 2 together and got 4 correctly at that time.
Yeah. Although he could have just took it off to chain it round or check it out. It could have been out, couldn't it? But good question, actually, that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Mick, Kev, I'm going to ask this, and I don't know whether you're allowed to. Questions we're allowed to ask Howard Webb. I assume you're not allowed to ask him about his upcoming potential job.
I think he's open to answering any question, if I'm honest, mate. Yeah.
Result. Well, my question will be, Howard, will you please sack Gavin Ward?
Yeah.
Gavin Ward.
No, listen. Yeah. I've got loads of questions for Howard. I've
Not
got loads.
Kettle. Not Kettle, Mick.
Kettle's retired, isn't he?
Kettle's
retired. So
yeah. I think even though he's not on panel, Webby, I think he's going to get a lot of questions asked to him because obviously something different in it. You know, due to the power of Twitter and other social media, you tend to find a lot of stuff out, but no one's actually been able to ask a World Cup final referee a direct question. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Powermed UK says he'd like to ask Howard Webb why do Rotherham always get a raw deal from referees? Yeah.
True.
I mean, it's going to be difficult for Howard, isn't it? You know, because of this, obviously, the job that he's taking on now, he's going to have to be very careful as to what he can and can't discuss. I would have thought. I know we spoke to him, and we were hoping to get him on podcast before the new season starts. But I suspect now because of that job, it's not really appropriate for him to be showing his support for any specific football club, is it? So that might change. I mean, you put me on the spot with these questions, Matt, but the only one that I can think of that springs to mind. You didn't text me and tell me you were going to ask me, so don't be looking like that.
I might not actually. I did.
No, you didn't know. I mean, we could always ask Ronnie if he's still a bit upset that he didn't make it into our greatest 11 team. I think we kind of upset him a little bit with that one.
Oh, it did make it It did make it, but not as a player.
No, he made it as greatest ever manager.
Yeah,
he did.
So,
not as a player.
We can't take responsibility for that. To be fair, that was a public vote.
Yeah.
Although
he made mine. He definitely made mine.
And we can blame you, Mick, because when we were put these, we shortlisted 4 players, and you were the only one that saw him play. So you are 100% at fault for that, Mick.
Right. I'm not. Yeah, see, they saw him play. I also saw him manage, and I saw what he brought to this town as a manager, and it's something that I'll never ever forget.
He almost started the revolution, almost, didn't he? He started the comeback of us being, well, not great. That's a bad word to use, but being successful, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If it weren't for Ronnie, how many more years would we have been stuck in Division 3? Because the club had completely stalled. No ambition, and Ronnie took over. His achievement at the club is probably the best the club's ever seen. We all love what Warner's doing now, but he's got backing of a club. He's got backing of his chairman. He's got the fan base behind him. When Ronnie took over, he had none of that really. The fan base were barely behind the club because of what had happened before. The chairman was not going to invest much money. It'd be good to hear Ronnie's stories. That then a lot of people my age and a bit older grew up on Ronnie Moore, didn't they? Either playing or managing. I'm looking forward to asking him and hearing some of his stories. Ben, we spoke to Pringle on podcast. I don't think you do actually. What would you ask Ben Pringle?
What was it like in the dressing room at half time at that Leyton Orient game? Wembley.
Probably quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet until Cheeseburger walked in.
Yeah.
Then it only livened up.
I do think I've had a few people message me on Twitter and that and ask, like, a lot of the questions I'll not repeat one here because they're saving for the night, but they are aimed at Ben Pringle, asking a lot of questions about Steve Evans and certain things. So he's going to be for a busy night, I'm sure.
Yeah. Good old Steve Evans. Yeah, he'd be great. One day if I'll ask Steve Evans a question, I don't know what he'd be able to answer, to be honest with you.
He's been on with Gab Sutton, hasn't he, Steve Evans?
Yeah, we're on Twitter the other day, wasn't it? Like a live Twitter thing. It were all Stevenage based, weren't it? It weren't anything Rotherham based or anything like that.
Did it have subtitles on?
I think so. We're at put a question into Stevenage, see if they'll let us have Steve Evans on. Although he might not be able to talk about some stuff. About UK. I'd like to get some clips of bad refereeing decisions against us and ask Howard Webb to do a ref watch. Okay. Yeah, I would like to see that as well, to be honest with you.
I think he's going to have enough of them next season to watch the go back over.
Yeah. Mark Todd's the one that's sort of before my time, so I don't know much about him. I know he's a defender. Kev,
midfielder.
My age or younger.
Midfielder. Midfielder.
Let me write that down. Midfielder.
Yeah. I mean, probably when I first started watching Rotherham, really, early teen years now. Great midfielder, box to box, good energy. Obviously, I think he's more famous for playing for Sheffield United and Man United. And I think, again, that's going to be some questions aimed at him regarding, I believe Alex Ferguson was the manager at the time when he was at Man U. So, are we coming in? I'm not sure. I might be wrong with that, but there's going to be some questions around that, yeah. Yeah, Mick obviously probably saw him a lot more than I did, really, but good player.
Yeah, it was. I just echo what you said there, Kev. Really, really good player. Love a good combative midfielder, and that were him as well. So yeah, like him.
He's a great speaker as well. He's one of Brett's guests in Lounge most weeks, and he's regularly on stage, and he speaks really well. Very, he got a lot of stories. It'll be fun on night, I guarantee that.
Yeah. And Guy Branston is, I think, the only one we haven't mentioned yet. Again, there's going to be some stories. The obvious one is the one where he punched the referee's door in it. That's the obvious. Or is it the obvious? Is that the obvious one? Or is it Huckabee one? They're the two stories I'm really looking forward to be honest.
Was the Huckabee one in the tunnel? Yeah. Is it the one in the tunnel? Yeah.
Leon, I think it involved Leon McKenzie as well. I think we have got that written down as a question. Yeah, it involves Leon McKenzie. And we are saying a few spoilers. I talked to him recently, and years after, he won a train to London, and Leon McKenzie were on the same train. It's the first time he'd seen him since that thing in tunnel. And the outcome was they had a good laugh and joke about it, and they're all right now.
Good.
We were a boxer. I think he were a pro boxer, I think, weren't he? McKenzie. Really? Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That game was amazing.
It was an amazing game.
I've actually got a confession about that game.
Go on.
I'm not condoning it, so anyone listening, I'm not condoning it, but when Huckabee dove for that penalty, I threw a pie, or what left me pie, and it hit him on the shoulder. He actually, I tweeted about it a few years back, and he actually replied saying, "Oh, well, that you. Cheers."
I'm surprised he didn't go down again.
Yeah, that was a thing though. That Millwall, we talked about it before when we played Watford when Gianluca Vialli were manager. Somebody threw a puck of pie at Gianluca Vialli. It's just one of the most Rotherham things to the most beautiful Italian man.
That weren't me. That were definitely.
Yeah, but it's going to be great to hear stories like that time. Them days at Millwall, mate, were just epic against these big players, these big teams, these huge names. To hear stories from Ronnie Brexham and Kai about all these, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the West Ham game where they refused to get changed at tunnel at club and all those sorts of things. And what's his face? Sheringham diving for a free kick at edge at box, which I think got them winner in end. But that was another one. It was one that was a period when it had just this sort of behaviour had just started to sneak into football in this country. Yeah. And Teddy Sheringham, I thought at the time, I remember being incredibly disappointed with him on that day. And I never looked at him again as a footballer in the same light after that because, you know, I felt he was a really, really good player. You know, he played for England, obviously he played at Spurs for a long time. And I just thought, he's a really classy footballer. And then he just goes and does something like that and finds it hilarious and funny and everything else. And I just thought, you know what? Nah, mate, not for me.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I agree. That was the time it definitely came in. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Me and Kevin are going to talk about this afterwards. We're going to try and record it, and then for people that can't go, whether it's audio or video, one way or another, we'll try and get it out so people can donate to Rotherham Hospice and have a listen to what I'm sure are going to be some great stories from that night. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, even if you just did the recorded the Q&A session, because obviously people are arguing. Lucky enough, there's a comedian on, there's a band on, really good band there playing at the Tramlines weekend after. Very good band. We're obviously auction prize. We've got, I don't know if everyone's seen on Twitter, I've just posted some pictures. Grace Kelly, young Rotherham fan, she's digitally drawn all the legends. They're brilliant, so we're gonna sell them on the night. Probably £5 ago, but personally signed by the guys. And we're gonna hopefully, fingers crossed, raise target £7,000. So let's see. That'd be his aim.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, we love Grace. She's done a couple of pictures. She's amazing, isn't she? I've seen those pictures.
Fantastic.
They're amazing. They're really good. And Ben, it's a special day for you on the Legends Night, isn't it? Do you want to tell everybody why it's such a special day?
It's my birthday.
Is it appropriate to tell everybody how old you're going to be?
I'm going to be 18.
18. It's the big one.
Yes, fetch your ID then.
Yeah, I will.
You'll not be drinking though, Ben, will you?
I might do a little bit. Only a little bit though.
You're
not full on training now.
Yeah, but a pint, won't it? 1 pint.
That's what I said.
No pine peas though, Ben. Can't have them.
Yeah.
I'll have yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, look forward to that. We'll talk about that next week. And also, we should get a shout out. Danny will be back on the podcast Thursday. The charity match at Flash Lanes on Saturday, which we'll also give a shout out to Danny, which is Saturday coming. Mick and Ben will be at that one as well.
When you discussed it the other night, Matt, on the podcast, he told us all about it, what were happening, where it were, and everything else, but not what time it starts.
He didn't. I don't think he did. No.
1 o'clock, innit? I think is it 1 kickoff or 12?
I will find out while we're talking, and then I will come back to you. I'll text Danny now as we're speaking.
Yeah. Listen, you put me on the spot with those questions, mate. I thought I'd do the same for you. Just return favor, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very kind of you. Very kind of you.
Anytime, you're welcome.
Yeah. S6 Formula says, "Don't worry, Ben, you won't be the youngest there because Chris was there with the pictures, so you won't be the youngest." John Morell says he'll be legally able to highly recommend beer adverts. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to get a beer sponsor?
We haven't got a beer sponsor.
Oh.
Move on. Craig Riley with one where we're not going to talk about, but we will. Craig Riley says he's heard Ben Wiles has gone. Now, while I look up this, I haven't heard anything. I don't know if you guys have heard anything since it's been rejected.
No, I heard they were miles away from I think last bid was 2 million, and which, from what I've been told, Tony Stewart said it's no less than 4. So unless they've doubled their offer overnight, I might be wrong, but I've not heard anything.
Yeah, they're trying to throw the money about a little bit. They tried to go after O'Hare at Coventry, but apparently they want 12 million for him, which apparently I'm going to pay. But even if they didn't get him, he's a different position. I think he's a bit deeper than Wilesy would play. So it's not if they don't get him, they're going to go for Wilesy. It's all a bit mixed up. But
I'm judging what they paid for Scott Twine. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was fantastic last year, Scott Twine, brilliant player. But he's had one good season at League One level, whereas Wiles has played, I think he's played at least 1 or maybe 2 seasons in Championship. So if he's worth 4, then you've got to at least match that for Wiles, surely, for me.
Minimum.
That's sure. Yeah. Ben, you weren't with us last time. Anything to add on the Wiles chat? If they hit the money, then he's free to go. I think all Rotherham fans would wish him well. But
yeah.
Let's
unless it goes to Wednesdays.
Let's go to Wednesday. Yeah. But clubs need to be respectful, Ben. They need to pay the money that we want to pay. We're not little old Rotherham anymore, are we?
So I want my computer first.
Always you. I just said about the costs of Wiles and people not paying it. People have got to start respecting us as a club that we're not going to take 300k and a sell-on fee.
Yeah, well, obviously I heard the Scott Twine part, and I mean if he's worth 4 million, then Wiles is worth minimum 4 million. Which I've already expressed my views on Burnley. I don't like them as a club.
Oh.
They're another funny club, aren't they? I mean, go on. Sorry, Ben.
No, go on. I was they're not very good at making good business decisions, are they? Because Saki and Sean Dyche worked out for them really well.
Yeah, that's where I read. And obviously, again, I listen to Talksport when I work, and Simon Jordan's not a massive fan of Burnley either. And he regularly comments on how they run as a business and how they've done, how they finance things and stuff like that. So yeah, strange one.
Yeah. The gambling again. He's potentially spending up to 12 million quid. You spent 4 million on League One player. Another one from Oxford. The gambling, the parachute money in one season again, which was they'd already gambled to stay up, which failed. With an untested and unproven manager and at this level, sorry. For everybody that's interested, go on. Okay.
No, I'm going to say it's been interesting to see Vincent Kompany on touchline. To be fair, against Warney, it'd be nice to see. Yeah. Interesting.
It won't be the first big name to come down to New York Stadium and walk away with his tail between his legs, would it?
Do you reckon he'll get sent off?
What, like Frank Lampard?
Yeah, that's what Lampard did. Oh.
Yeah, I'd like that. The game on Saturday, the charity game, Flashlight on Saturday. Kickoff is at 1. But we've said for everybody to get there around 12. I think they're doing a raffle. They're definitely doing a raffle. I know that. And like I said, they've got Guy Branston playing, and Danny's going to try and be a striker against Guy Branston, which I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, there we go. Moving on. Before we move on to anything, is any other transfer rumours anybody's heard? We only recorded 4 days ago, but I've not heard anything in that space of time really. It's still pretty quiet, which makes me feel happy. I trust that there's something going on, really. I do anyway.
All what I'm curious about is obviously we've signed Washington and Eves, so we've got 2 big men in. We must be looking at signing a number like Will Grigg or someone who can hold the ball up and play it that way. But that's gone quiet. The Grigg story. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It was true with MK Dons, but it doesn't fit the bill of an MK Dons player, so I can't see him staying at MK Dons.
I thought that was only because that was the nearest club, and I know he'd already played there, so I'm guessing he's already had relationships there.
I think Warner worried about his fitness, weren't he? Because obviously he missed last quarter of the season and basically proved his fitness. And he is knocking on a bit, but I still think personally he could do a job at that level.
Yeah, I agree. If he becomes available and proves his fitness, I'd be more than happy to see him back in a red and white shirt.
Yeah. Well, it's no coincidence that our dip in form towards the end of last season, when he got injured.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Right. We have a quick chat from Cheryl Stone. Says Watford are on Sky 4 times within the first month, money to money. But the positive is, Ben, that we're not on Sky. I'm very happy about that. No messing about with kickoff times. No condescending commentary.
Yeah.
All good for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, being on Sky sometimes it is awful, isn't it? It is awful.
Yeah.
Especially when it's an away game. When it's home, it's all right because you're there and you don't have to listen to commentary. But it is dross. But listen, they always have these. Sky always have the what they called Golden Boy clubs. They had Leeds where they had them on, I think 45 games out of 46 when they were last in Championship, and do it the same with Watford. So
Sunderland it seems to be their favourite. I think Sunderland won 2 or 3 times in that first month as well. But yeah, I think the midweek games will continue to be on the red button on Sky, although that's not been confirmed. But you could if you wanted to pay tenner and listen to a decent commentary if you wanted to through iFollow.
Does that affect iFollow? Because I know last season there were a couple of clashes, weren't there? And if it were on the red button or it were on iFollow, so
I think it was that if it's on the red button, if Sky pick it as their main game, it won't be on iFollow.
Right.
But all the midweek games, or should be, or the rest of them will be on the red button and iFollow. It's like the Wednesday game when we played them. That was not their main game, so you could have done the iFollow. I think. I think they're extending the iFollow. I've seen Andy Holt tweet about they're extending it through the Christmas period, which will not get into the complicated finances of it, because that's a whole other story. But I think it's good that they're extending it a bit. We're only a season away from every game being an iFollow, to be honest with you. We're not far away. So that'd be nice. Friendlies coming up. We've got 2 friendlies coming this week, which is I think certainly worth talking about. We've got Salford. I think Salford's Tuesday, Harrogate Wednesday, I think. I think it's that way around. Again, I'll check while we're talking.
Thought Salford or Wednesday. I might be wrong. Oh, you might be right, actually.
We'll have a look. Is this when we can start? Yeah, you're right. Harrogate on Tuesday, Salford Wednesday. I'll finish the rest off. Mansfield on Saturday away. Donny next Tuesday, so week on Tuesday. And then Crewe the following Saturday, which is the final one before the season starts. I know you can't take loads from friendlies anyway, Mick, but is this when you start looking at performances? Because they've been away for a week, they've had a couple of days rest, and we go again? Or is it still too early?
For me, they're just practice games. They're just getting some time on ball, time on pitch, time playing together. They're irrelevant for me in the sense of drawing any sort of conclusions from results or anything else. Yeah, you can look at individual performances and maybe as you get sort of towards that back end, Donny and Crewe, you can maybe start to look at formations and team performances. But as far as what you can actually draw from any results or anything like that, you can't. They're pointless. In my, and this is purely anecdotal. I can't guarantee that this is right, but in my memory, whenever we've had a bad pre-season, we generally tend to go on and have a good season. Or when we've had a good season, we've probably lost 3 out of 4 friendlies or whatever. It means nothing. It's just getting the lads playing together and getting some understanding. That's all. So no, I'm not drawing out from them.
Ben, I don't know if you have a different opinion.
Well, yeah, I do have an opinion. I always want to win friendlies, right? Because that's why you play football games. But we obviously had a very intense pre-season. So we're not going to be performing at our best. Like Mick said, usually when we have a bad pre-season, we usually have a good season because it means you've had a good pre-season off the field, if that makes sense. Off the pitch anyway. So yeah, obviously I want to win. I do take something from it because at the end of the day, it's still a football game, and it's still a football game. So like I took certain things from that Parkgate game, which I know you and Mick don't like.
Which you could moan about, yeah.
But, yeah. Well, yeah. Whatever. Yeah, I do. Yeah. It's hard to tell really because obviously you're not in the room. You don't know how the players are approaching the games. It's kind of difficult, really.
Yeah. Okay. Kev, I don't know if it's same with me. It's not until day one of the season that you can start taking anything. You look at individual performances, so you can say, "Oh, he shone quite brightly. He had a good game." But from a team perspective, it's just get to day one and we'll see where we are then.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough in it because it's weird because we've still got the backbone, the crux of the team, and we've still got a lot of transfer. We're probably going to make another 4 or 5, maybe 6 signings. So it's whoever plays again on Tuesday might not play Wednesday, and then they might change again Saturday. So it's just like Mick says, just grass time. Just get a bit of game time, bit of fitness up. Whatever the score's completely irrelevant. We could get beat 5-0 at Harrogate. It don't make no difference whatsoever. As long as if we do score against Harrogate, as long as none of them do a knee slide into the crowd, I'm not bothered.
What kind of club does that? You know what I mean? Listen. It depends where your bar is, doesn't it? You know, you set your bar. Depends where you set it.
We'll see big changes. We're playing consecutive nights, so we're not going to see a full strength 11 on either day, to be honest with you. They'll have, maybe see a trialist, or I've not seen any names are linked. And we'll see the kids again. I suspect to see we have in the friendly we saw McGuckin, Warren, and DeRose. You'll certainly see those 3, and maybe a few other ones as well. So yeah, good luck to everybody going. Safe travels to everybody that's going to those. If you're going midweek preseason friendly, all respect to you. To be honest with you, 2 new grounds as well, I suppose. There's reasons.
Yeah. I think that's the only reason why we might take a few to Salford and Harrogate, respectively, because they are 2 new grounds we might not get to see next few years.
No, hopefully not, to be honest. Shelley RC says, intrigued to see who else is coming in. Surely it's no coincidence that number 10 and 7 are both free. I agree, Shelley. I know Ben doesn't care about squad numbers, but I think it's interesting that you've left those free. Ben?
Yeah.
Disagree?
It's hard, man. I personally don't care about squad numbers. I don't care because I know squad numbers. The thing is, squad numbers have not really been important in my lifetime. I know they kind of have in Mick's lifetime and Kev's, but they haven't in mine. So it kind of depends on the manager. It depends on the manager why you're leaving. It depends. If he doesn't care, then it's fine. But if he might have done that for a reason. I don't know. I don't know Paul Warren. And as I said, I'm not a football manager. So it is kind of tricky to comment on that, Matt.
Cool. 86 is still free, Ben.
You what?
I said 86 is still free if you're...
yeah, I know. I'm signing next week. You were meant to say that, mate. Yeah, I'm signing next week.
I think the numbers do matter to Paul Warren, but I think they are a bit traditionalist and the beliefs and all. And I think that's why he's saving. He wants an attacking midfield number 7 to come in and a striker to fill that position. Yeah,
I think it's almost a thing to sell to a player. Almost, so you can say, right, I want you to come to my club, and you're going to be really important to us. We're going to give you the number 10 shirt, and that's sort of. Although it doesn't really matter, I get what you're saying, Ben. Although it doesn't really matter, it's sort of. They want me to be a big number. That sort of might be a bit of a pull. I might be being a bit idealistic with that. What'd you say?
Old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it takes those numbers. I'll be honest. We've gone short today. Is there anything else you want to cover? Because I think we've covered everything. That's our shorter news weekend it's been. Just nip into the 45-minute mark. I think we're going to get. Is there anything else, Rotherham or tenuously Rotherham United related, that we can cover this week?
Does anybody know the final season ticket sales? How many we've sold?
I haven't seen anything yet. Was it 6,000 the last one they mentioned?
I think so.
That was a few weeks ago as well, wasn't it? That was quite a while ago. I've not seen anything that one. Still nothing at the moment either. I've sent an email to the BBC Sounds team see if there is an update because nobody's saying anything. I don't suspect there will be anything, but we'll come on to that as and when it's coming through. But
there's something not right about that, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
There's been no contact whatsoever. There's been nothing whatsoever. So something's not quite right there. But
shame as well because people are quite false to that.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's a shame if it didn't come out. Hopefully it does. Hopefully they're just delaying it. But the quietness speaks a lot, doesn't it?
Probably Carl Robinson moaning also about something. It'll be something to with Carl Robinson, guaranteed.
Carl moan. Poor Carl.
Yeah, he'll have emailed them saying, how come Rotherham are on first?
Yeah, exactly. It will be that, yeah. Yeah.
You never told me what to do with Rotherham, this. I don't want any part of it anymore.
Yeah. On season ticket, Brian Alt says he thinks it's over 7,000, but Powerman UK says 6,400 last he heard. So we don't know, is the answer.
Do you know what? 6,400, then with 2,500 away fans, that's guaranteed 9 every week. And yeah, your stragglers who add on at the end, it's good. It means we're going to have 10,000 plus every game, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
First time we'll have fans in the championship since the 2018-19 season. Always didn't have last time. So it'll be nice to be back in the stadiums. Really looking forward to that. Ben, anything else you want us to talk about?
No.
Who are you most looking forward to seeing? Obviously, the Sheffield United is the main one. But who, like team-wise, are you most looking forward to seeing us play next year?
That is a good one. That is a good question.
Nobody
sort of sticks out there. Goes, you know what? I'm really looking forward to. We mentioned this. There's no Leeds United. There's no Bielsa's Leeds United, or things like that. It's quite an even league, isn't it? I'm interested to see Burnley. I'm really interested to see how they go on. Watford are going to be interesting again because they've got that young guy from Forest Green. Mick, anything who stands out for you?
Well, Watford won't have that young guy from Forest Green by the time we play him because he'll have been sacked. Won't he? Back by then. I don't. To be honest with you, I don't really know. Like much like you said there, there's nobody that really stands out and makes you think, you know what? I'm looking forward to having a piece of that. It really does feel like everybody's pretty much of a muchness. You've got obviously Norwich, Burnley, and Watford who've come down, but Norwich are just going to continue to do what they've always done. Then you would think Watford will continue to do what they've always done. They'll go back up, and maybe Burnley or Sheffield United through playoffs. And I don't know. I'm not looking forward to any of them more than any of the others. You know what I mean? So I'm just get me Swansea on that opening day and let's see where we are. Come on.
I think Norwich for me. Norwich is the one that stands out for me purely. Obviously, the connection with Warney as well, and they're a great set of fans. They always travelling numbers from a distance as well. And I quite like the art in Norwich as well. So that's the one. But I'm with Mick. The Burnley and Watford don't appeal to me. I'm not bothered at all. Not at all.
Yeah, Hull have started spending money. They're worth a mention. They've made a couple of good signings over the weekend. We'll see how they pan out. But there's I agree. There's nobody standing out. Ben, anything? I don't think you will have to ask you. I'll bring you into conversation.
Probably. I'm looking forward to Burnley.
Just because you're interested.
Just company. Yeah, just because of company. I don't like Burnley, as I've said, but just company. Why don't you like Burnley? Because I really like Sean Dyche. He did a lot with that club. He did a lot with a very bad team. It was not a good team. And what he did with that team, and then for them to treat him like that is, he got karma, to be fair. So I hope they don't go up. But I'm looking forward to see company in person.
We seem to do well at Turf Moor as well. We have some good results there. So
it's an old-fashioned ground as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I suppose we've just got rid of one rust bucket to visit. We can go see another one now, can't we?
Yeah. Right. We'll end it there. We will see. Well, we will be back on Thursday, where we'll have at least 2 friendlies to talk about, some signs and whatnot. We will please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you're listening. 5-star rating if you can as well. I hope everybody enjoys the New York Stadium European experience, whoever it goes on Sunday evening to that one and the future games. We're going to have a chat with Kevin once we're finished about what we can do to help with the Legends Night, see what it can help everybody who doesn't go to listen. Mick, what is disappointing is that we got for a full episode and you're in a car park in Wales and nothing's gone wrong.
Nobody smashed my windows despite the fact I'm sweating like a pig. It's boiling here, the sun's come out, and then nobody's come to ask me if I'm all right. But they probably realise I'm English, so they'll just be stood behind laughing.
Yeah. Okay. Ben, it's been a pleasure to see you. You've not wound him up today. I like it.
Thank you. Apart from Burnley fans.
Apart from Burnley fans. Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah. Apologies, Burnley fans. And Kevin, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you Thursday. We'll see you in a moment. Thank you.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Freddie turning shoot container shot. Yeah!